This is a mock-up of the market board, and the market board also contains a tech area, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. In part of the game, every cycle you are going to take a look at a market roll, and at the beginning of the game, the market prices are set. You simply place one of the commodity markers, so gold or yellow for food, brown for factory goods, gray for metals, and black for oil, on the 5 markings on the market board. Whenever you reach the market phase of the cycle, you're going to conduct a roll, and that'll indicate whether or not the price goes up, down, or stays the same. So we're going to roll this 4 different times, once for food, second time for factory goods, third time for metals, fourth time for oil. If we roll an 8, as you can see, or just underneath there is a downward pointing arrow, which means the price of the food has gone down by 1. So now we resume by doing the same thing for factory goods. So let's roll it. Let's say we end up with a 3. Okay, well, 3 is up 2, so we increase the price from 5 to 7. Next, we roll for metals, and let's say we get a 7. There's an X there, meaning that the price stays the same. And finally, we roll again and get a 5. 5 is up 1, so the price for oil increases from 5 to 6. And so now the prices have been set for each of the 4 commodities, and immediately after that you can buy or sell those commodities. By the way, the maximum price for any commodity is 10. The minimum is 1. So if we're already at 10 and we end up rolling say a 3, normally the price would go up 2 notches, but it doesn't because of that. Alright, you may actually get a card, event card, that'll tell you that your specific empire gains 1 more coin for selling a product. So let's say that were the case for oil for your empire. So if it were already at 10, you would still gain that extra 1. So you would gain 11 per unit instead of 10. The middle section is for tech, and as you can see, there's 2 different portions to it. The middle portion of the mat is for production technology, and the bottom portion is for military technology. What we do with that is, first of all, at the beginning of the game, all the players place one of their achievement markers on the 1s in the production section. These are stackable. And so we have red, blue, and green for all of them. And that is the production for your specific commodity. So for example, if you have an empire that has, say, 3 farm improvements, and you're at tech level 1, you'll end up collecting 3 food per cycle, depending upon the season, of course. If you increase that, so let's say you're the blue player and you increase it to level 2, you double your production. Moreover, you also obtain storage counter, which we'll get to here in a little bit. That's indicated by this square that's around there. If you make it all the way to 3, there's a hexagon there because you are awarded a monument for technology. So completing a technology track. It's a little easier to complete those for production than it is for military, but we'll get into more of that here in a little bit too. At the beginning of the game, your empire receives 5 tech cubes, which they place in this tech region, and there's 4 different areas of study. So what we have is biology, chemistry, physics, and engineering, and that correlates to the prices for the advancements that are down here too. So to improve our food technology, we have to spend 3 tech points from biology, 1 tech point from chemistry, 1 from physics, and 1 for engineering. All right, in order to get those points, we need to place these tech cubes, which represent scientists, on this grid. So if I'm the red player, at the beginning of the game, I put 1 in each zone, and then I have a 5th one, which I can place anywhere I'd like. And for now, I'm just going to go ahead and place it in physics. Okay, the blue player similarly does the same thing. You can place these wherever you'd like in the zone, in the areas themselves. And maybe they would like to double up on biology. And then we have the green player. Maybe they want physics also. These little numbers in the tech area represent dice rolls. So you're going to roll the red and the black dice. So if I roll a red 2 and a black 3, that is red 23. So I go on my grid here, and here's 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. All right, there's a blue marker over the top of that. So that means that the blue player has just been awarded 1 tech point in biology. So on their player mat, they're going to mark that and slide the slider up once. Real quick here, we'll look at that. So the blue player would slide their slider up from 0 to 1. And then we would re-roll the dice. So if the next roll was a 52, okay, here's 5-1, here's 5-2. Blue is again awarded a tech point, but this time it's in the area of chemistry. Furthermore, the scientist that's in that zone, since this is the second tech point that was awarded to the blue player during this cycle, that scientist cube is retired and removed from the board. So the first one is a freebie, so to speak. The second one is not, and thereafter isn't. So if they rolled again and got a 1-5, yes, they would be awarded a physics point, but they would also have to retire the scientist. Now, let's say that instead, on the next roll, we get a 1-4. The red player has a cube over the 1-4. They are awarded a tech point in physics. They haven't received a tech point yet this cycle, so that cube stays put, and we roll again. If the ensuing roll is a 41, red receives a chemistry point, but that cube is then retired, and so on and so forth. And that is how you accrue tech points. Also, at the beginning of that cycle, shortly before it, scientists are spawned. So in other words, they are educated, and for each player rolls both dice, and for every 1, 2, 3, or 4, as per the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, a tech cube is awarded for each particular player. So each player rolls 2 dice and gets those. If you get a 5 or a 6, those are duds and no scientist is spawned. So if the red player rolls a 5 and a 2 during the spawn phase of the cycle, then they don't get awarded any scientists for this die, the 5, but they do for the 2. They're awarded a chemist. So they can place a cube on the chemistry area anywhere they'd like. The bottom section, the military section, is very similarly run to the production section. These are the prices, and that's what you have to pay in order to go ahead and make an advancement in the areas of infantry, artillery, armor, and air. Now, at the beginning of the game, each player places one of their achievement tokens in this first column. You may have noticed that there are stars on two of them. One of those is in infantry, the other is in artillery. Those stars do not exist for armor or air, and that is because at the beginning of the game, none of the empires have armor or air capabilities yet. Those have to be earned through a tech improvement, technological advancement. So if I want to make armor units, I need to first of all accrue 1 biology, 2 chemistry, 3 physics, and 3 engineering points, and then I can spend those and slide my achievement marker over here to the 1 position. Since it's starred, that allows me to begin the production of armor. The red numbers here, or the numbers in red rather, dictate what the hit values are for each of these specific items. So infantry at the beginning of the game scores a hit if you add these 2 dice together on rolls of 2 and 3 only. After a technological improvement in infantry, that increases by 1. So we simply add this value to what is already here. So now instead of 2 to 3, it's 2 to 4. 2 to 4 still isn't a very good set of odds. However, it's double if you statistically analyze that from what a 2 to 3 roll is. If I increase up to 2, now it's 2 to 5, which increases your odds even more. In the basic game, we don't use the next section, which is for defense, so we won't talk about that here. Anyway, if you get to this point, again, there's another hexagon. So if you reach this point, you can place victory monument on your city tile for technology. In the advanced game, you have the option of placing your advancement marker either in the attack region or in the defense regions. So if I go ahead and spend 1, 1, 1, and 1 bio, 1 chem, 1 physics, 1 engineering, I can place it either over the 1 in the attack region or the 1 in the defense region. Eventually I might want to cover both, so what I'll do is place another marker here, and then after achieving another increase in technology and technological advancement, I can either place it here or I can instead slide my defensive marker up to a 2. In the advanced game, both of these hexes have to be covered in order for you to place your victory monument.